Now that we have this nice animation, we are going to try and add a second camera into our scene, and we are going to also try to animate it. So first thing that we're going to do is go out of the pilot mode for the camera, and we can remain in the cinematic view. Let's click G to see all our icons. And if we go to cinematic, we have cinema actor. We can just pull it in scene, and as you can see, we can see the window. And for this camera, we want to animate it so it goes from the bottom of the toes to the top of the head. So you can try to place it, rotate it, something like this. What we can also do is go to the left view and unlit mode, and maybe not left, let's see, front, something like this, and we can zoom in, get camera nice and ready, something like this. Now we can go to the left view, so you can play around with these options and the viewport to see what you want. So something like this maybe. I also want to rotate it a bit, something like this. And let me put it in this view. So when we put it in a global view for transform, when you look from top left, right, or something like that, you'll see that arrows are always straight, but in this local view they can be distorted. So it might be better here to use the global view. So I think this will look good. Now, before we continue with this second camera, what we need to set up is, if you remember our properties for this camera, to be the same as from the camera before. So if we click on this camera, we can see that it uses 16:9 film, and you can see here these arrows. They mean that something was changed there. So by looking at this, we can easily see what we changed. So most things seem the same. So one thing that changed is 95mm here. So let's put that. Now that we set that up, let's look from the front again, and we can pull it back a bit. Now let's go to the left. Get something like this. Not stop. Let's look at the left again. Actually from the front. Something like that. Now from the left. And let's actually rotate the camera. So you can also go to the perspective view and local. So I might also want to change the camera to look a bit more down. Get something like that. We can also add the camera to the sequencer. And other properties that we changed, I think it was a black clip to be 0.01, if I remember correctly. And what else did it change? Well, oh, so we have the aperture to 1.4, so we can also change that. Let's see, 1.4. And now that we have this camera there, we can start animating. So let's again pull it back, and let's actually go into camera view. So here now you can see the place cameras, or if you want this specific camera, it's maybe easier in sequencer. If you have here the list of cameras, you can just click on the selected and do this, and we can see that focal distance is way too hard, and maybe we want something like this. Now I think aperture is also a bit hard, so we might change this to be a bit different than the other camera. So let's set 2.2, so a bit more of the back leg is visible. And now we can click plus on the transform, plus on the focus, and let's drag it all the way to the end. Now again, the easier way is to click just this button. And now we can move up. So Let's do this by holding Alt, actually. Hmm. So the easiest way, so there is few ways that we can just move it up. We can right click and then manually move the camera. But I just want to move the camera up without moving anything else, any rotation and things like that. So you can go into the transform of the camera and just increase the Z option. And this will just pan it to the, uh, pan it up basically. And maybe you want it a bit to the left, just the gun to be in the view. And here this looks nice, let's transform it. And now focus can give you the option if you want to be more hands in the focus or head. We can also draw debug plane so you can see what is exactly focused. So maybe I want mostly the hands to be, so let's put it like this. So face starts to get a bit out of focus, but our hands are pretty in focus. So this is nice. Now if you play it, we can see this smooth animation going. Now the animation might seem a bit slow to you, and that is really easy to change in Unreal. We can just click and drag and select two last keyframes and just switch them up. Let's make the animation half as long. And now if you play it, the animation of this camera will be double as fast. So you can easily increase, decrease the speed to something that you like. And of course you can do this with the other cameras. If I select this camera, go into the view, let's click also G. So we don't have the icons there. And maybe this animation is a bit too slow. We can select this, move it, and now the speed of the animation is increased. So this all depends on what you're making, the preference, and so on. And as you can see, you can have different properties for different cameras. So as you can see, aperture here is 1.4, but in the camera below is 2.2, so you can change it however you like. And you can also change transforms here if you want manually to change location. So if you remember how I went into the detail properties, you can also go to the camera location and scroll this up or down. So if you select this second camera and then just pull this up or down, you get the same effect. So you have all the same properties here. And that's about it for adding the second camera. In the next video, we are going to cover how you can export the video from Unreal, and then we'll start editing it in some other software and show you how you can add some post-processing effects.